Hey guys, so this is going to be our last lecture for this semester. And I'll tell you what you need to do with this lecture coming up in just a few minutes. It's going to be a fairly short lecture. It is going to be on global warming, so maybe this video, maybe one more. But really this is going to be leading to your last paper for the year, and it is going to be on global warming. And for that paper, I want you to take a stand. And it doesn't matter if you believe global warming is real or you believe it is not real, but I want you to take a stand one way or the other. You either believe it's real or you don't believe it's real. And I do want you to back that up with at least 3 cited sources. And those have to be legitimate sources, not Wikipedia or anything like that or Joe's website. They have to be legitimate websites or other sources that you find to back up your cause. And so this lecture is all going to be about global warming. Some arguments that it is real versus some arguments that it is not. You can take this information and you can kind of make it the basis for your paper if you want to. Your paper doesn't need to be that long, but at least 2 to 3 pages, single-spaced, and also with at least 3 sources to back up your position. There is no right or wrong answer, but I just want you to make sure that you are making a comprehensive argument one way or the other. Okay, so with that being said, we're going to talk briefly today about global warming and a couple of arguments for and then a couple of arguments against. One of the arguments for global warming is the rise in sea level. Over the last several years, we have seen, in really the last century, almost a 7-inch rise in sea levels, and that continues to grow every single year. A lot of that is because we are dumping more water from shrinking glaciers into the water system and that whole system that goes around. So over the last couple of years, our sea levels have been rising and rising significantly. In fact, in the last decade, the global mean sea levels have doubled compared to the 20th century trend a little bit earlier on. So we're actually seeing more of a rise over the last couple of years than we were seeing previously. But overall, over the last century, almost 7 inches, 6.7 inches to be exact. Another argument for is the rise in the average temperature. I think pretty much almost every time we get to the end of a month, we have something going, this is the warmest May on record, this was the warmest April on record, the warmest March, whatever that happens to be. So again, we're seeing higher and higher temperatures. So a lot of people point to that as being probably the primary catalyst for evidence that there is global warming. Another thing is the rise in ocean temperatures. This is something we've seen over the last couple of years as well. Over the last 50 years, there's documented temperature records for the oceans recording a steady rise, and even a more steady rise since 1969. That's when we really first started to see that rise in temperatures. So if we have higher ocean temperatures, that could conceivably lead to more hurricanes, because we've already learned that hurricanes need that warm water, that temperature of at least 80 degrees down to 200 feet. So rising ocean temperatures is something to be concerned about, also because maybe some sea life doesn't like the warmer temperatures. They like the colder temperatures. So this all kind of it all goes in a cycle. So it could cause some problems. Or then again, there may be some sea life that likes the warmer temperatures. We don't know. But again, rise in ocean temperatures is another argument for global warming. And of course, shrinking glaciers. That's something that you see on the news a lot. People have said, Antarctica is shrinking, the Arctic is shrinking. You see the dramatic pictures of a big chunk of glacier falling off. So again, shrinking glaciers. One of NASA's experiments shows that Greenland has lost 36 to 60 cubic miles of ice every year between 2000 and 2006. So there are those shrinking glaciers, so something to be concerned about. And then also there's more acid in the ocean. This is due to the more emissions from harmful gases. A lot of those emissions get absorbed by the water in the ocean. So again, we're looking to more algae blooms, more mass fish deaths, as well as just a kind of a change of the chemical composition of the water itself. So a lot of arguments for, and there are probably a few more out there as well. So a couple of arguments against. Actually, we'll do those on the next video, and then we'll wrap it up with another look at your paper coming up.